Everybody. And welcome to First Unitarian Church of Toledo on the 22nd day of December 2024. This is the first of two services we will have this Christmas week. On Tuesday at 5 p.m., please come back here or tune in on YouTube for the holiday stories and songs. A candle lighting Christmas Eve service. This morning, though, we recognize that there are so many holidays and that season's greetings is properly inclusive. And we have a special time to dedicate to children in our community. My name is Tom Sheehan, and I am the service associate today. I'm here with Tim Barker, the Toledo Unitarian senior minister. Jeffrey Maxey is on the piano, our music director, directing our First Unitarian choir. Jenny Gottman, our director of lifelong learning, will tell today's story. And the tech crew is led by our producer-director, Walter McGee, with Andy Gottman controlling the cameras. David Strickler, who is also our commissioned lay minister, is at the soundboard. Julia McGee, the acting president of our board of trustees, also takes on a kind of general assignment for tech support. So we have many more volunteers helping also with greeters in the lobby, religious education helpers for today's RE activities, and we have a kitchen crew preparing for coffee hour led by Carlin Logan Mercer. I have a couple of points to help make this a sacred space for all in attendance. If you have an electronic device, please put it on silent or vibrate mode, including for any notifications you might receive on your phone. We ask that you minimize the sound, but we also invite you to bring the light. We have candles at this table in front of the pulpit, and you are welcome to light them for your personal joys or concerns anytime music is playing during the service. We are a church with no official creed, and our only doctrine is love, the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. One of those shared values is pluralism. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. We welcome everyone, as we sang in our opening song. Now, if you're a visitor, a special welcome to you, and you may notice in the pew rack in front of you a bookmark with some details about Unitarian Universalism. Feel free to take that with you. There's also a yellow card that you may use to introduce yourself to us, and if you give us your email address, we will send you our weekly electronic newsletter in your email. And as you meet people today, feel free to introduce yourself and ask any questions you may have. We also welcome those of you who are joining us virtually on our Toledo Unitarians YouTube channel. Whether you're doing that live this morning or tuning in at any time in the future. We hope that this time serves your spirit.
And hello, I'm Reverend Tim. You will see me wearing a mask at times today. I just need to let you know that on Thursday I had a cold. I don't have it now. I'm letting my wife use it today instead. And she is at home with the cold. But I'm Reverend Tim, and let me add to today's welcome. The flame of the chalice that we light in our services symbolizes courage and illumination and honors our search for truth and meaning. Let's all say the words for chalice lighting together. They're on the screen and in our order of service as Tom lights the flame. Our chalice has the spirit of Unitarian Universalism. We light it centered in love. May it glow with sacredness and shine for each and for all. And let's continue reciting together with Tom leading us in the covenant of our congregation. This is not a creed, but what we share with general agreement and what we as a religious community work toward.
Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
In this first of 3 intentional times of spiritual practice in our Sunday services, there can be other times that might help you, including your own candle lighting, but these 3 are for the full congregation. We look beyond ourselves, considering celebrations and sorrows and the state of things. Here it is officially Christmas week. Schools are out, travel has begun for extended families who choose to gather. There's shopping, wrapping, cooking, cleaning, and so much more work to try for a picture-perfect holiday. Remember, please, that it's the people that are important. And also remember that some of the best family stories are the times when things didn't go the way they were intended. Human nature will show itself with surprising acts of goodness in some places, deplorable behavior in others. Please have mercy, be kind, give dignity, and show compassion. And as you can, celebrate the generational ties that holidays can bring. Feast, rest, be in good company, and end the year with a sense of accomplishment, however great or small, noteworthy or private. And remember to breathe. One reason we join in religious gatherings is to realize common links. The uncommon is here too. Let's be together in faith, hope, and love, physically and in spirit. Amen. And now, please join in our opening hymn, a classic Christmas carol, number 235, Deck the Hall with Boughs of Holly. For you who are willing and able, please stand. So it is child dedication time. And let me find this. Here we are. In this congregation, Christmas week has been a time for child dedications. That doesn't mean we won't also dedicate children at other times in the year. I think we would welcome any chance to welcome our youngest into this institution. But today we have 2 children of our congregation who will be dedicated in our Unitarian Universalist spirit, formally brought into our Toledo Unitarian circle in a public ceremony. We have Towns Sackman and Asani Higgins. I'm sorry about that. We will get it right. This is not a baptism, and we wait until they are considered able to make their own decisions before they become members. It's also not a naming ceremony. Many of us use different names in the stages of our lives, and we respect that they might choose something other than their birth certificate. And we know the parents spent much time deciding, so we honor those, but want to leave room for nicknames and other ways of deciding what someone is called. What we're doing today basically is taking these children formally into our world and asserting that we will be part of theirs, as if they haven't been already. So today is a welcome of 2 people who represent the present and future of our church, and a reminder that we're here to help in their rearing, care, nurturing, and development. It is our task to give them a world of peace and justice in which to grow. It is our task to share with them our ideals and hopes. It is our task to learn from them the zest and wonder of life with which all children come into the world and which we too often lose in later life. Let us not fail in our task. In all parts of the earth, and from the earliest days of recorded history, parents have brought their children at an early age to a place of worship, sharing their joy and dedication with those of the wider community. Traditionally, the element of water has played a symbolic part in this ceremony, for all life has arisen from the waters. And it is through water that life is sustained as it flows forward like a river. Christian scriptures say that when Jesus of Nazareth was baptized in the Jordan River by John the Baptist, a voice came from heaven, "You are my son, the beloved, with you I am well pleased." Let us be well pleased on this day of blessing with water, that these children are beloved by our church community. Water is important in other world religions too. And in our tradition, what we are taking part in is a dedication, an official welcome into this community, and a recognition of the individual. With all of that said, I invite the children to come forward with their family. And Towns and Asani, please bring your people. David, can the hand mic here work? Hello, everybody.
Right.
Gather round.
Hello, hello. So many happy faces. Who presents these children for dedication today?
Aaron Holden Sackman.
Matt
Gwen Wilson.
Oh, Mercedes Higgins.
Families, to you is given the awesome privilege and responsibility to be close givers and shapers of these young children. Before you is the challenge of their questioning minds, the unfolding wonder of their selfhood, and their responses to the world around them. Will you respond to that challenge with the best that is in you, seeking not to make your children just like you, but rather to help them become themselves and find their own ways? We will.
And now let's dedicate these new Toledo Unitarians. First Towns, then Asani. We will be repeating some language for each family, but I think it's important that they each have a time to be in front of us and answer, rather than doing this entire dedication with Towns and Asani paired. For Towns, I asked Towns' parents, Aaron Holden Sackman and Matt Sackman, and his grandmother, Letha, who is sitting in the back, and other family is here, and all of Towns' family here today. Do you now promise that to the best of your human abilities, you will help Towns to an appreciation of truth and beauty, uprightness of character, and love? We do. And now for Asani, I ask her mother, Mercedes Higgins, her great-grandmother, Gwen Wilson, and all her family assembled. Do you now promise that to the best of your human abilities, you will help Asani to an appreciation of truth and beauty, uprightness of character, and love? We do. And now I ask the religious education teachers assembled here this morning, will you make a place for these children as they grow, welcoming them and supporting them as members of your community? And now I have a question for all others who are here in the sanctuary and watching on video. I hope your response will be, we do. Do you accept the charge to educate, nurture, and welcome these children of our congregation? We do. Thank you. And now the actual dedications.
Aaron, will you please tell us all your child's full name?
Towns Holden Sackman.
Hey, hi, Towns. Towns Holden Sackman. I touch you with salt water. I'm going to put some here, and I'm going to put some here. The salt water represents the sea of life from which existence began, the sweat of the children of Israel when they were slaves in Egypt, and the tears a woman named Mary shed for her son when her son offered himself as a sacrifice for all. As it said, we are all made of stardust. We also all have salt and water in our bodies necessary for life. And with this water, I dedicate your life and thought to the good of all humankind and to your own true growing. May the blessings of an understanding heart, a wise mind, strength and integrity of purpose, and love received and given be yours, Towns, and remain with you as you go forward into ever fuller life. Blessings. There you go. Now it's your turn.
Mercedes.
You go.
Mercedes, will you please tell us your child's full name?
Asani Simone Higgins.
There you go.
Asani Simone Higgins.
Asani, I'm going to touch you on your forehead and on your hand. And I'm going to say, I touch you with salt water. And the salt water represents the sea of life from which existence began. It represents the sweat of the children of Israel when they were slaves in Egypt. And it represents the tears a woman named Mary shed when her son offered himself as a sacrifice for all. As it's said that we're all made of stardust, we also all have salt and water in our bodies necessary for life. With this water, I dedicate your life and thought to the good of all humankind and to your own true growing. May the blessings of an understanding heart, a wise mind, strength and integrity of purpose, and love received and given be yours and remain with you as you go forward into ever fuller life.
Let us all say these words together, congregation and families in the dedication. Please repeat after me. For the gift of childhood,
For the gift of childhood,
whose innocence and laughter keep the world young,
whose innocence and laughter keep the world young,
we all rejoice and give thanks.
we all rejoice and give thanks.
May these sweet lives,
May these sweet lives,
which we have accepted into our community of ideals and friendship,
which we have accepted into our community of ideals and friendship,
receive abundantly the blessings
receive abundantly the blessings
of health, love, knowledge, and wisdom,
of health, love, knowledge, and wisdom,
and in its turn give back richly to the common heritage
and in its turn give back richly to the common heritage
that endures from generation to generation.
that endures from generation to generation. Everybody, may we present to this congregation
Towns and Asani.
Friends, we have dedicated Towns and Asani. May we also dedicate ourselves this day. May this occasion work its miracle in our hearts, that we may mold our lives more and more in accordance with the beauty, truth, goodness, and love we wish for the lives of these two children. And finally, while we have formally brought them into our community, we won't make them stay in the sanctuary for the full service. They, along with our other religious education students and their teachers and helpers, including Jenny, will leave the sanctuary for their class time. And you want to say something about cake?
I have heard that there could possibly be 2 cakes presented at coffee hour in honor of Towns and Asani's dedication.
Let's sing them out. Thank you.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. May your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. ones who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Someday soon we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Someday soon we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. For the second spiritual practice, time of focus in our Sunday service. This opportunity for meditation, contemplation, and prayer, I bring a solstice reading. Yesterday at 4:21 a.m., to be precise, calculations say that the top of the Earth's northern hemisphere reached its maximum tilt away from the sun, making yesterday the shortest day of the year, and the night before it, the longest night. Solstice is important in science for the astronomy, and to pagans for the turn of what many call the wheel. We will follow the reading with 1 minute of silence, hearing only the sounds around us, and then we will sing hymn 123, Spirit of Life. Here is The Moment of Magic by Victoria Safford. Now is the moment of magic, when the whole round earth turns again toward the sun. And here's a blessing. The days will be longer and brighter now, even before the winter settles in to chill us. Now is the moment of magic, when people beaten down and broken, with nothing left but misery and candles and their own clear voices, kindle tiny lights and whisper secret music. And here's a blessing. The dark universe is suddenly illuminated by the lights of the menorah, suddenly ablaze with the lights of the Kanara, and the whole world is glad and loud with winter singing. Now is the moment of magic, when an eastern star beckons the ignorant toward an unknown goal. And here's a blessing. They find nothing in the end but an ordinary baby born at midnight, born in poverty, and the baby's cry, like bells ringing, makes people wonder as they wander through their lives what human love might really look like, sound like, feel like. Now is the moment of magic, and here's a blessing. We already possess all the gifts we need. We've already received our presents: ears to hear music, eyes to behold lights, hands to build true peace on earth, and to hold each other tight in love. Let's be silent for a minute.
This reading is from Festivus, the Holiday for the Rest of Us, by Alan Salkin. Most Festivus-friendly people believe the holiday was born on December 18th, 1997, the day of the Festivus episode of Seinfeld. Those people are wrong. In various forms through the millennia, humans have celebrated holidays called Festivus. A version flourished in ancient Rome. It morphed through the Middle Ages and the Renaissance and manifested strangely in the 19th century California, before flowering again in upstate New York in the 1960s. What's amazing is that through its many incarnations, Festivus has always uniquely managed to express the spirit of its age as it does now. No one has ever owned it. It is populist. It adapts. Uncontrolled by any ruling power, Festivus grows. Brian A. Krostenko, a professor of classics at the University of Notre Dame, wrote, "As Christianity pervaded the Roman Empire, Festivus referred not only to dinner parties and rituals in churches, but also to merriments associated with pagan feast days. This ensured the continuation of the word into the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, and beyond. Festivus lives."
So many holidays. It's 3 days until Christmas. The big holiday is here. In a way, you get a list, call it an around Christmas list. It's not a list of what you want as gifts, but what we in the world have. Celebrations, to be together, to have some awe about life and the universe, to share old stories passed along, and to make new ones in our own circles. I've told you some of this before, but that's also kind of the way of the holidays, that things come around again. There are so many holidays. Yesterday, December 21st, was winter solstice, a term used by pagans and some scientists because of the astronomical measurement. And yesterday was also Yule, a holiday for pagans. Christians tried, largely successfully, to appropriate elements of Yule into the Christmas celebration, so you'll see some similarities if you look for them. Yule is the observance that pagans brought to the winter solstice, having symbolic practices relating to winter coming on. Winter solstice itself is celebrated as a holiday by some people, whether paired with Yule or on its own, though likely dating to a time when calculations weren't precise, but were based on watching celestial objects move in the sky. At winter solstice, now one can mark the exact time when our part of the globe is at its furthest tilt away from the sun. So we do have kind of a cosmic turn, which is somehow deep in some people's sensing. The December solstice here is the first day of winter, so we get that new season along with the other holidays. If you want to play at the holidays you can observe, then you can observe Festivus tomorrow, December 23rd, making it more than a story element in the TV sitcom Seinfeld, because, as told in Alan Salkin's book Festivus, The Holiday for the Rest of Us, it had been celebrated in a way by a family of which one member became a writer on Seinfeld, and the name goes back to different celebrations or holidays over thousands of years. Festivus can be much more than, as Alan Salkin described, the TV version, which featured a bare aluminum pole in the place of honor many families reserve for a tinsel-draped Christmas tree, an airing of grievances in which friends, family, and acquaintances accused one another of being a disappointment, and feats of strength requiring that the holiday not end until the head of the household was wrestled to the floor and pinned. December 23rd also has a holiday invented by humanists, HumanLight. Created and developed by leaders of the New Jersey Humanist Network in 2001 and recognized by the American Humanist Association in 2004, HumanLight is a way to promote reason, compassion, humanity, and hope, according to an article in The Humanist, the American Humanist Association magazine. The name itself, HumanLight, the article says, was chosen to indicate that it's about humanity, not any supernatural beings. Light indicates the light of human reason, as the proverbial candle in the dark. HumanLight is a secular holiday, but note the point that people somehow gravitate to the end of the year, not just because of the Western influence of Christmas, but also there being something ancient about the solstice. And people don't want to miss out on their own ways, which I'll speak a bit more about when I get to Unitarian Universalist invented holidays. Christmas seems to be ever growing, becoming more secular as well as retaining its sacred reason for many. And even the religious aspect isn't limited to December 25th. Today is the fourth Sunday of Advent, with this being a religious service. Tuesday is Christmas Eve, and here at First Unitarian Church of Toledo, we will have a 5 p.m. Christmas Eve service with some sacred and some secular stories and songs, along with candle lighting. Wednesday is Christmas Day. We won't have a service here, but you can find Christian churches with December 25th observances. This year, on December 25th, Hanukkah also begins. Hanukkah is an 8-day Jewish holiday celebration of light, based on a story of a very low on fuel light burned for 8 days, illustrated today with the menorah. And Hanukkah doesn't stick to the same days every year on the calendar most of us use. Then December 26th is the beginning of Kwanzaa, a 7-day celebration of African American culture, not begun with the intention of its being a religious holiday, but some people have made it so. Have you heard of Mumas? I hadn't until our member Paul Kemner told me about it in an email. Kemetism is an ancient Egyptian religion that some people still celebrate. The people in that faith are called Kemetics, and Paul Kemner, that Kem in his name is just coincidence, said that his fellow Kemetics settled on the establishment of the celestial cow. It's preserved in several places, including a shrine in Tut's tomb. That will be celebrated on December 27th this year, another movable holiday, not always on the same date. I won't go into detail, and just barely touching the surface of the story, Mumas is the informal name for the celebration because the mus situates this near Christmas, and Mu refers to the celestial cow. In essence, this is one of many world religion stories of a supreme being and a flood on the earth. In the Kemetic faith, the supreme being is the god Ra, and the flood is beer that doesn't destroy the people, but ends up saving them. Maybe Paul can tell us all details of Kemetism and share sacred stories at another time. I wanted to include Mumas among these so many holidays because Paul thought to bring it to the topic. Let's get back to the present and Unitarian Universalism. 3 among these so many holidays are the Unitarian Universalist observances: illumination. There are 2 U's in illumination. Luminescence, and Chalaka. They seem all to celebrate from a desire that our faith might have our holidays. Illumination will be celebrated in its originating congregation in Little Rock, Arkansas on January 11th, just past Christmas time, but still part of so many holidays. Illumination, that term gets to light, like chalice lighting, began in 1994 when a member family in Little Rock developed it when their children wanted, the church noted, to celebrate not only the special days of other faiths, but a special day of our own. The Sunday illumination service might have a blessing of people's own chalices, which we did here in Toledo at another time one year. Luminescence, begun in 2007 at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Santa Clarita, California, is intended for the final Sunday in January, again near the end of so many holidays. The Luminescence website has this description: through the lighting of 5 candles, we celebrate the nurturing of our own personal sparks, along with the light that resides in all that around us. We rejoice with delight the fact that these lights do not extinguish as they're used. We reaffirm that the light that resides within us grows each time we share it. Through nurturing, we cultivate the expansion of even more illumination throughout the world. We celebrate the principles that guide us to transformation, and we rejoice in the openness our faith provides toward seeking truth through both the blaze of spirit and the light of reason. And there's Hanukkah. On the Unitarian Universalist Association website, a search for Hanukkah brings this. In 2005, Hanukkah emerged out of a well-intentioned desire to have a new winter holiday organized around Unitarian Universalist principles. In the years that followed, however, UUs began voicing discomfort that this created holiday, celebrated over the course of 7 days, felt like a harmful appropriation of holidays like Kwanzaa and Hanukkah. In anti-oppression spaces, it's often said that when you know better, you do better. Out of respect for faith traditions and people who have been historically marginalized, we encourage Unitarian Universalists to refrain from engaging in Hanukkah-related activities and to use these new understandings to help us recognize appropriation. Hanukkah seems to be in the midst of people reimagining it, moving it out of this so many holidays intensity, as well as considering how to move from its original aim of focusing one day or 1 week on each of the 7 principles to include the Unitarian Universalist bylaws change from 7 principles, and many congregations, including ours, adopting an 8th principle, to recognizing the UUA bylaws' new attention to a system of 6 values: equity, generosity, interdependence, justice, pluralism, and transformation, all centered in the value of love. Holiday revision in progress. So many holidays. What are they for? Different things. Marking sacred or celestial events or stories, many having begun in a religious circle. Or having a bit of fun related to ritual for Festivus. So holidays are observances of faith. And holidays, some the same, some being different holidays, are for gathering together or taking time away from the usual. Family religion, you might say. The seasonal aspect, rather than just a day, encourages rest as well. Somehow, American English language didn't take up the synonym for vacation used in England of being on holiday. Many here in the U.S. are instead, it seems, trying to make our secular national observances holidays to a United States religion that differs from earlier, better concepts of civic religion. Now there's Christian nationalism tied in, but more on that in another talk. Whatever you celebrate, be they holidays of an ancient faith, of a culture or people, of your own religion, of a world religion still sacred or observed by you in a secular way, make it a good season for you and yours. Celebrate your own stuff too. Birthdays and anniversaries and accomplishments happen alongside these so many holidays. Have joy, have grief, for we also know there is loss, tiny and momentous, and holidays can make us focus on that. And do good to others in a golden rule way. Find and hold holiday spirit, and remember to breathe. As we shine among the entries on our church sign, season's greetings, may there be peace on earth, be merry, and bless the humbugs. Blessed be, and so be it.
Thank you, Tim. Today's offering, along with the one at our 5 p.m. Christmas Eve service, will go to the minister's discretionary fund, our church's way of being able to help people in and outside of our church who have urgent financial needs. The minister's discretionary fund also provides other types of support at times, such as helping our members to take part in Unitarian Universalist Association activities. The restriction on the minister's discretionary fund is that it cannot be used for the minister's personal benefit. The Christmas week collections are the primary way the minister's discretionary fund gets replenished, as it is not part of the annual church budget. Please give generously.
Number 245. Okay.
Yes, so please rise in spirit and, if willing and able, in body too.
Oh my God. Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let us the King. Let every heart
sharing that began on December 8th and is available on the church private Facebook page. UU Minister Reverend Kimberly Debus writes, "Hold My Chalice" on Substack. Here are segments of her writing of November 20th, her second entry after the election. They speak to both the shared ministry and right relationship duties of the Committee on Shared Ministry. Her title is Institutional Adulting. She writes, "I've been thinking about Louis Untermeyer's poem, Prayer for This House, which is set as the first hymn in the Unitarian Universalist hymnal, Singing the Living Tradition, lately, which begins, 'May nothing evil cross this door.' The last stanza reads, 'With laughter drown the raucous shout, and though these sheltering walls are thin, may they be strong to keep hate out and hold love in.'" Now, I've been thinking a lot about these words because of these, dare I say, unprecedented times we're in. And I'm of two minds about the sentiment. The part that makes me anxious is when sung corporally in an institution, particularly a religious one, there is a supposition that our congregations are safe havens, bunkers even. There is in these lyrics a sense of intentional isolation and protectionism. And there is in these words an understanding of invitation into a community of belonging, a place of safety, of blessing, of warmth and comfort, of sacredness, a place of trust, which is the most important thing we need right now, a community of people we trust in a nation that is sowing seeds of suspicion. These lyrics remind us that our congregations can be those strong foundations upon which we build our spiritual and moral cores, where we strengthen our relationships and connections, where we hone our skills for nurturance, activism, and prophetic witness, where we reconnect and heal. So what does it mean to be a strong foundation for this unbelievable moment? And more importantly, how do we get there? I realized that even healthy congregations have got work to do right now. It's what I've begun thinking of as institutional adulting. You see, I have been doing a bit more personal adulting in the last couple of weeks, getting an overdue repair done on my car, assessing my financial picture, making sure my will is up to date. All of this is personal infrastructure work, strengthening my foundation so I'm not caught short-footed. Institutional adulting is getting your congregational house in order so that you can focus on what's coming. For some congregations, that means getting bylaws and policies in order. For others, it may mean settling some outstanding issues. For many, it means some overdue repairs to the building. Others still have some covenant and relational work to address. And some have to deal with strengthening the foundation of their ministries. No congregation worth its salt, no matter the faith or the population it serves, can afford the luxury of putting things off. No congregation worth its salt can afford to sit idly by and be surprised when tyranny or hate come knocking. We have to get ready. More than ever, how we build and strengthen our institutions matters, and how we demonstrate our faith matters, and how we proclaim our good news matters, and how we fight tyranny and hate matters. That's the end of hers. Today's dedications of Asani and towns symbolically included salt water. We are a congregation worth its salt. May we together continue to strengthen our foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry, for continuing the important work of the Committee on Shared Ministry. And now it's the coming soon part of our service where we tell you what's on the calendar for this week. We give some announcements, and we also let you know what's up for right after the service. This is Christmas week. When this Sunday service concludes in a few minutes, we'll shift our focus to Christmas Eve, as at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, December 24th, we'll bring you holiday stories and songs, kind of a lessons and carols format with Unitarian Universalist connections. And yes, we'll have candles to light, and we'll sing Silent Night with the lights off. Jeffrey Maxey and our choir, a couple of soloists, and you, the congregation, will give music, and we'll have readings from some of our Toledo Unitarian leaders. There's a tradition that we have tea or cocoa and cookies after, so if you want to bake, bring those cookies to church. And next Sunday, join us for Spiritual Forum in Fellowship Hall at 9:45 a.m. on December 29th for an activity common in many houses during holidays, board games. Several will be available, and all I ask is that you reach a point for pausing or completing the game before the 11 a.m. service. And for the 11 a.m. service on the 29th, Phil Park Thomas returns to our pulpit, bringing the Emperor Nero and the year 2025. It's a joy to hear the connections that Phil makes, but with the upcoming political change in government, I hope he'll bring some good words about how we might make it through.
Aside from our church services, First Unitarian won't be very active for the next couple of weeks. Our volunteers and staff deserve holiday time, and the office will be open for only limited hours on December 24th, 26th, and 31st, and closed on Christmas and New Year's Day. If you do have a need to contact the church, though, please try phone or email. The final coming soon entry is for me to repeat the invitation for you to join us in Fellowship Hall after today's service for coffee, conversation, and social time. Plus, Reverend Tim will be there for a sermon discussion starting at about 12:15 in Fellowship Hall. If you'd like to talk about what the sermon said to you, join in.
Let's have one more observance of spiritual practice. We have gone beyond ourselves with the pastoral time and turned within for meditation, contemplation, and prayer. Now recognizing the Buddhist thread in our congregation, and we will share a time of metta, having for and sending to all beings love, kindness, and compassion. As the words come on the screen, please look at them, and then we will say the words together. After that, as we prepare to extinguish the chalice, you might repeat this to yourselves. May I, may we, and may all beings be well, be happy, be peaceful, be safe, awaken to the light of our true nature, and be free. We send the flame from our Unitarian Universalist chalice with the love on which we center everything to fire up the world and spread generosity, interdependence, justice, pluralism, and transformation. Normally, I'd ask us to do that all in unison, but I just kind of said it for us today. So let's move to our postlude.
Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. Now bring us a figgy pudding, now bring us a figgy pudding, now bring us a figgy pudding, and bring some more. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. Bring some more here. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy
Okay.